Yeah, Karen, tell me about something like how you enter into politics from defense services. Generally, people retire and enjoy their life, but it seems you are too active, and you still plan to fly Canadian government.
Yeah, well, yeah, I tell people I failed retirement.
Yeah, okay.
And no, I just got involved in politics because I didn't like the direction my country was going in.
Okay.
And I think that it's all our responsibility to look after each other, and I knew I had what it takes to do this, to do politics, and do it well. And I wanted to have a clear conscience that I had done everything I could to change the direction my country was going in.
Okay.
And the kind of legacy that was going to be left for my children and all of our children. So we have a government that has a very narrow viewpoint, and it's really not supported by more than 60 or 35% of Canadians, but he's governing that way. And it's a very corporate oriented approach to government. I find it very heavy-handed. He doesn't seem to care much about the environment. For him, the economy just seems to be a number to use rather than a tool. The economy should support the people of Canada, and I want a different future for my country. So I decided I had to do something.
Yeah, that's good. In fact, but on the agenda that you plan for new direction to the Canadian economy or Canadian people, how you want to achieve your goal of prosperity?
Oh, well, I think Canada needs to become needs to develop a first world economy, an advanced economy, right? Right now we have a government that seems to be putting all of its eggs in the raw resource extraction basket. That seems to be their focus. The oil sands and pipelines and things like that. Where I want Canada to go to be more of a knowledge-based economy, and to encourage entrepreneurship and people starting new business, because the multinational companies have left Canada. They're not going to bring their jobs back to Canada. So we have to find a way for us to create our own jobs in the future. And I think that's through education and encouraging, more knowledge-based economy than the current government is designing for us.
So do you feel current government focus is more towards harnessing natural resources?
Yes.
And less towards harnessing human resources?
Exactly. We have so much talent. We have so much potential here. Our people are well educated. They are hardworking, and we want to move in that kind of a direction where all of that talent is used, and really now it's not. So, and the government has cut research and development funding. The government has cut funding to help small businesses launch. And that's the exact opposite direction that we should be going in. We need to be creating more opportunity for small business. We need to find a way to get risk capital to business. We need to find a way to get growth capital to business. And we seem to be going exactly the opposite direction.
You're right. So when we say about sustainable development, long-term goals,
and you know what? That's another key thing. I think all we're doing is we're looking for short-term gain, this government, and there is no long-term plan. We don't have a strategy or a plan for anything. We don't have a national defense strategy or a foreign affairs strategy or a industrial strategy, economic, nothing. Because if you don't have a strategy or a plan with milestones and goals and things like that, then nobody can hold you to that. You need a plan. If you don't have a plan, don't be surprised if you don't get there. So, and I'm very much into looking long-term and investing accordingly. And I see absolutely none of that. It's all short-term advantage.
So general people with whom you interact and who plan to vote you or who plan to bring you into power, do they understand these problems that you are explaining?
Yes, especially here in this riding. Ottawa is, and Kanata especially, is very much a high-tech hub.
Okay.
And they know what the challenges are. And so when I talk to the business community here and when I talk to people who are trying to start up their own businesses here, they understand. And they know that Ottawa has a lot to offer. It really does. Canada has a lot to offer, and they feel that the full potential is not being taken advantage of right now, and we can do a lot more.
Yeah, in a way, I was going through certain data and also some details. It tells me that Ottawa has lots of startups going on, but most of the startup end up in US.
Yes, they get bought out because they don't get any growth capital. So they get to a certain point and then they're stymied and they can't go any further. So all they can do is sell. We have to stop that. We have to be able to identify those companies or give them that growth capital so they can actually get to a point so they don't have to sell out to the States all the time.
So US is taking full advantage of this weakness.
Oh, sure they are. I mean, I think they're much more comfortable with risk. I think Canadians are a little less or comfortable with taking risks, but we have to take some risks right now. And I think
Canadians in general don't want to take risks.
no, not as much. You know,
Yeah, and then US.
as U.S. Okay, but then see that always hasn't been a bad thing. If you look at our economy today compared to the States, we're in much better shape than they are. Okay? But what we need to do, we're at a point now where we need to take some risks in order to move forward and build a new economy for the future. Because if we stick with the economy we have as today, it's like we're not going to make the kind of progress we need.
For creating this risk capacity for human resources and people or small or medium-sized enterprises in Canada, you need to have certain kind of policies or certain kind of cushion given to these exporters or startups or business people.
Well, you have to start with a government that thinks that way.
Yeah.
Okay, this government doesn't even occur to them. So they don't have a long-term plan. Okay, they're looking short-term. So the short-term benefits of the oil sands and the energy industry, that's all they need. We need a government that understands that we need to make some long-term investments. You're right, some of those investments are in human resources, making sure that we have the people with the right skills at the right time here, connecting universities and higher education with industry. We should do more co-ops with university. We should do more internships and apprenticeships and actually make the students come out of university ready to go to work. And we should actually give the companies who are going to hire these new workers,
Recruiters, yeah.
give them a subsidy to take them on, because when you're trying to grow your business, you need to find the right people, but it's expensive.
In fact, in a way, European Union people do have this kind of a program currently going on that gives subsidies to people or companies who hire new recruits. And even they are now funding foreign recruitments. For example, if a company, let's say in India, hires some European candidates, that company is paid by European Union for giving that individual, international exposure.
Yeah.
So it's like building a relationship building confidence, building cross-cultural management thing,
Absolutely.
and that gives you confidence
Yep.
to take risks.
Yep, it's true, and we need more collaborative effort.
Yes.
Right? So you need, the world needs collaborative effort. Canada needs collaborative effort. And like, we need to be able to sit down at a table and negotiate and find something that wins for both of us. You know, that builds capacity in more than just my country, in other countries around the world, so then we can work together.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be in competition with each other all the time. Sometimes we need to work together, and this is, I think that's not a strength of this government.
So diversity is needed to increase.
Oh, like diversity? Oh, absolutely. In my experience in the military, the best decisions came out when you had a diversity of people and experience and talents and background around the table. So when you have that kind of diversity around the table, your decisions are going to get stronger and stronger, as long as they feel that they can speak up. But right now, this government is a sit down, shut up, and keep your feet off the furniture and do what you're told kind of government. That's not going to build us the kind of economy and the kind of future we want. So it is about sitting down and negotiating, you know, and coming up with a solution that works for everybody. I'm a mediator. My job is to find common interest. I think that I can contribute to that.
So now coming towards, it's very good to understand, you know, your view on collaborative efforts, diversity, risk development, initiatives from the government side, strategy also that empowers people. What are your views on international relations of Canada?
I think that Canada used to be seen as a country that was open-minded, you know, and collaborative and respectful of others, and really not inclined to attack first and ask questions later. Like, it was a country, talk to Canada. Like, Canada will have some ideas, they'll listen, they'll sit down at a table and actually negotiate. Now, I'm not sure, I think that reputation is, you know, it's eroding, it's wearing away because of the actions of this government. So, and I think the way they've treated some of the other countries has not been positive for us. It's been very combative, it's been very arrogant. There you go. I don't think the world saw Canada as arrogant before, but I think that's probably starting to change.
It seems you are talking about something to do with NATO?
Well, no.
You were in NATO, no?
Oh yes, I was in NATO for 4 years.
So you were part of that Yugoslavia activities?
Yes, yeah. And the thing is, you know what NATO is? NATO is a consensus-based organization, which means in order to do something in NATO, you have to build consensus. And same with the UN. It takes time to build consensus. But that's why this government is really has pulled out of part of NATO, pulled out of the United Nations, because building consensus is tough.
Yes.
It's tough. It's much easier to be you know, my dad used to say, if all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Okay.
This government thinks all they have is a hammer. They don't have the ability to sit down and negotiate and find that common, persuade people, find that common, build that consensus. They're not builders. They can't do it. And even
so it's like, you know, trying to separate yourself, keep yourself confined to certain parameters, and don't think about others.
They have made up their mind, and so they just tell everybody, here's your part to play. We don't want to hear from you, just do what you're told. And so no, you have to gain trust. It is about building. See, you used a very good word. It's about building. It's about building confidence, it's about building trust, it's about building relationships, building teams, and they're not good at it. because they're too heavy-handed, and people don't feel that they play an active role in the team. And so if you can't build trust, you're not going to be able to do anything.
So, I mean, it's like, again, a very important part, of defense services, perhaps. You need to build trust. You need to be grounded in trust. Your team has to.
You do.
Otherwise, there is always, a chance of less energetic people around you, and
if there's
problems around.
You won't have, the problems today are so complex, okay? Not a single person or a single province or a single country can solve it.
Certainly, it has to have a collective team.
It has to have,
yes.
You're right. And so you need people who understand that building that trust is the first step to being able to sit down around a table and come up with a solution. So because I'm going to ask other countries to take risks, I'm going to ask them to take a chance on a solution. And Canada has to be willing to take that risk, that chance too. But because if you're not a team, if you're not working as a team, you can't have a team without trust.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen. And that's why we have not been able to address a lot of the long-term problems facing our country right now. Even in Canada, they don't even sit down and talk to the provinces. And if we can't, inside our own country, have a discussion about problems that need to be addressed, how the heck are we going to do that outside the country? It's tough.
So it's like the leadership needs overall for internal domestic problems as well as for external problems.
Absolutely. We need
at one end you need to have domestic issues resolved on a long-term plan. Similarly, initiate international talks for a better relationship.
I mean, it's
a trust-building relationship.
It's about collaborative leadership, really, and that's a new, that's a new way of looking at it. Leadership is not, the guy say, go
one
this
person,
way.
yeah.
It's not one person. Leadership is, come on, let's go.
Yeah, it's collective.
It's collective, and so I think that's something that our current government doesn't understand, and I think we need even more. We need even more of it, even just in our own communities. Leadership is a collaborative effort, and it's about service, right? A leader serves the team. That's how it should work. The team is trying to accomplish something, and the service the leader provides is the focus, is the vision, is the kind of getting them all collected and heading off in the same direction. But that leader serves the function of that team. Yeah, not the other way around.
You're right. So it's more towards a team projection than towards a persona.
Absolutely.
So now tell me one thing, Karen. Now that you have a very good vision towards team building, towards long-term goals, short-term goals, strategy, balancing, harnessing of natural resources, where do you find immigrant community coming into play in your role?
It's absolutely key, because remember what I said earlier?
Yeah.
The best decisions I've ever seen is when there was diversity at the table, because you have one set of experiences and one set of backgrounds and one set of education and stuff like that I don't have. But you will have seen things in your lifetime that I've never been exposed to. And if we're sitting down at a table trying to solve a complex problem, and we're all acting as a team, everybody will be able to contribute that experience, that background, and it just makes us stronger. And because the world's getting smaller and smaller, really, and we have to find a way to work and live together. So why not start right here, right now? And if you look at our communities now, where when the immigrant population is active and involved, it's just so much richer. So we've been very fortunate in this country to attract the kind of immigration that we have. People who want a different life, people who want to build, and the immigrants who come to this country, they're trying to do the same thing we are. They want to build a better life for themselves. They want to build a better country. They want to build, better communities. And if we all work on this together, it'll happen.
Yeah, but tell me one thing. I mean, I was just going through certain reports that tells me that whenever immigrants come to Canada, they face quite a huge problem of unemployment.
Yeah.
They are not able to make use of their old skills
right away. Yes.
And they have to go through many hurdles to cross barriers.
Yep.
So
I mean,
how you plan to address that?
Well, I think that's a significant issue, and I think there are ways that we can fast track a foreign accreditation. I mean, even things like doctors and things, put them on on-job training with other doctors and make it happen. I mean, if you look at India, I mean, the standard of education in India is equal to here. There should be no problem. So, but again, it's the reluctance to take risks. So we have to give them the confidence that this is a risk worth taking. And it's something, we can manage that. We can, find ways to harness that potential of these people who are coming here, because otherwise it's a huge waste.
Yes, it's like find ways to quickly help integrate into the system.
Absolutely. And what happens, you see, if we don't do that, I mean, what has attracted people to Canada, I think, is social mobility, right? And if we don't do that, people are going to get stuck. Even Canadians, like Canadian-born, are being stuck. They're not able to make that progress. And I think the immigrant population, if it's happening to Canadians, it's certainly happening to the immigrant population as well. So we need to understand and commit to, we want social mobility for everybody. So, and I think for that, a lot of that, the key to that is access to education.
And deregulation a little bit.
And what?
We say deregulation of these barriers.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, there's a difference. Sometimes you need fences, right? You need to kind of protect things. You need to set standards.
Yeah.
But sometimes standards become barriers.
Yeah, standards are needed for facilitation, not for creating barriers.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. So when those standards become barriers to people who actually should be practicing in that field, I mean, that's not good. We're wasting talent. So I think there's a way that we can make that happen. But it's going to cost some money. But personally, I think it's worth it. It's worth again, it goes back, this is a strategic investment. And this is what we need to make more of, is strategic investments, okay? Not short-term investments, strategic investments in these people coming here. We will be paid back time and time again if we make the strategic investments in these people.
Recently, U.S. Government has signed an agreement with India on similar kind of plans, whereby US has given recognition to all recognized degrees in India, so that human resources coming from India to US don't find problems in integrating.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me.
So maybe you suggest that similar kind of a model should be adopted, so that can help not only Indian accreditation, but the whole.
But that's a start. You see, you have to start somewhere.
There has to have a beginning.
We know the standard of education in India is very high, so that's an easy one, right? We might not be able to do it for all countries around the world yet, but let's sit down and negotiate the same kind of agreement.
Certainly, yeah.
Absolutely.
Negotiations has to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So how you find in Canada, Indian community helping you out?
I know quite a few of them.
Okay.
So they know I'm in it for the right reason. They know that that it is about service to me, and that I'm here to serve this whole community, and I think they appreciate that. I enjoy going out to events and talking to people. That's the best part of the job. The best part of the job is going out. Is getting out and talking to people, and I love it. And the community here is very vibrant, very active, very entrepreneurial. Very entrepreneurial, and they're just amazing to watch. And they're here and they're working hard. They're trying to make a difference. And I said they're builders. They're builders, very active, and they want to play an active role in determining the future of our great country. And I appreciate that. And they're not waiting. They're out there right now. They're building. So.
I understand. So, apart from Indian community, do you have more communities around in Canada?
Oh yeah, there's lots of them. I mean, the Francophone community, the Francophone community is very large here. The Chinese community is very large here. The Muslim community is very active and large here. So, and even the South Asian, Vietnam, Korea, Japan. All of that's all. Because this is a very advanced economic area here, so it attracts, very educated people.
So this appears to be a kind of model for you to learn and experiment and.
Oh, absolutely.
And apply it into the whole Canadian system.
This is you're right, like a small model of where I'd like Canada to go with our economy. Because it's almost like an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They all understand they're reliant upon each other. Okay? And if we all don't work together, we're all going to perish together. And so there are some really good networking opportunities here, some really good relationship building opportunities here, and everybody gets that. So and people are very active, and they want to see Canada thrive. And so they're willing to make the effort to see that happen.
So what is your personal and official message to people of Canada?
Well, it's that, I do have some ideas I have a long-term vision where I would like to go. And how we can support building an advanced economy, and I think that Canada can be that first model, okay? That first step. We already have, the foundations are all here already, educated people with experience and that entrepreneurial spirit, the diversity, a strong community, and then let's work on building that. I think Canada can become a foundation.
A model?
A foundation.
To be replicated in all other
places yes, I do. Here, our strength is going to be the high tech, but if we can create the kind of business ecosystem we want here, where there's support from the government and support from the community and from higher education, I think that model, I think Germany kind of works that way, right?
So you are planning to create a high-tech model in Canada?
I think we can.
With support of government and true leadership, collective leadership.
Yeah. Because, I'm one of these people that, there you go.